NBI tags VP Duterte for inciting to sedition, grave threats. Ito ay article ng Inquirer.net na bayaran ng bilyar. Kaya yung mga post kasi, ang babango ng mga bilyar sa kanilang mga article. Diyos ko. The National Bureau of Investigation has recommended the filing of criminal charges against Vice President Sara Duterte for the threats she made against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and Speaker Martin Romualdez during an online press conference in November last year. So kung matatandaan nyo, yung nag-viral na video na mali Marcos! Romualdez, Liza Araneta Marcos, papatayin. May ganon, basta may ganon. It opens a new legal battlefront for the Vice President, one she may have to deal with while also facing an impeachment trial at the Senate. Ang dami mong kaso mo, dami mong lilitisin. According to a portion of the document shown by NBI Director Jaime Santiago, the National Prosecution Service of the Department of Justice received the various recommendations on Wednesday. The DOJ promised it would uphold the rule of law to ensure due process is strictly followed in evaluating the recommendation of the NBI. Ito ang sabi ng DOJ. The process will undergo case build-up as needed to assure that there is sufficient evidence and that the respondent is not unduly hauled to court. What we filed, sabi ni Santiago ito, what we filed were inciting to sedition and grave threats. The DOJ will weigh whether to file both cases or just one or dismiss them. That will be the possible action of our prosecutors. Malamang yung mga pwede. Kagaguan yun. The NBI chief explained that it would be possible to file 3 counts of grave threats against Duterte since she directed her statement at 3 individuals. So pwedeng 3 kaso, 3 bilang ng grave threats ang pwede may pataw dito. Pwede, di ba? Pwede. Ano sabi ni Santiago? On that part, there is jurisprudence that only one can be counted at the same time. But there is also jurisprudence that because there are 3 complaints or complainants, it should be 3 counts. But it is not up to us to decide. It is up to the DOJ if they will fight 3 counts or 1. Sino si Santiago? Ano si Santiago? Santiago? Sa prosecution service siya. Okay. According to the Article 142 of the revised Penal Code in relation to Section 6 of the Cybercrime Prevention Act, inciting to sedition is punishable by imprisonment of up to 12 years and a fine not exceeding 400,000 pesos. Pero hindi sinabi kung bailable ba tong kaso na to. Parang hindi. Hindi, parang oo. Kasi cybercrime eh. Not sure. Don't at me, di ba? Grave threats under Article 282, also in relation to the cybercrime law, carry a prison sentence of 12 to 20 years. Sige, doon tayo sa grave threats. 16 counts. 3 counts para 60 years. In response to the charges, Duterte issued a court statement at kita nyo, dahil focus nyo sa bilyar, Mario, nasikapi reader nito. In response to the charges, Duterte issued a court statement to the media on Wednesday. Ito ang sabi niya, as expected. Ay nako, syempre naman, may magkakaso daw. Salvador Panelo, the chief legal counsel of former President Rodrigo Duterte, also lambasted the NBI's recommendation for having no basis in fact and in law. Wow, wala daw basihan. Ano yung video? Nakabuo pa talaga pag di ba? Ano sabi niya? The director of the NBI should go back to law school. Wow. Sana ikaw din, balik ka na rin, di ba? Magkaklase kayo, ganon. It is obviously, sabi uli niya, it obviously is tainted with politics and still part of the demolition job on her by her political enemies to put her out of contention in the presidential race of 2028. Wow! Kung hindi ka pa naman tanga para gumawa ng mga ganon, di ba? May pag-asa ka pa makatakbo talaga. Hindi Sana Charing. Ano sabi niya ulit? Neither has VP Sara publicly and tumulously incited the people to perform acts of sedition as defined by law or go against the constitution, authorities, or to stop the enforcement of the laws. Wow, not publicly. Or, tama ba? Public, hindi daw siya nag-act ng sedition. Alam mo, sedition, pero grave threats, diba? Yung may grave threats. Following the filing of its recommendations, Santiago said in an interview with DZBB that the DOJ would be conducting a preliminary investigation based on the evidence submitted by the NBI. He said the grounds for filing the charges included the threats made by Duterte during an online press conference last November 23. Duterte has said that she has spoken with someone to kill the president, his wife, and the speaker should an alleged plot to assassinate her succeed. Ano ba to? Ito sabi niya in English, I told this person that if I am killed, you kill BBM, Liza Araneta, and Martin Romualdez. No joke! No joke! Diba? Yun ang sabi niya. Dagdag pa niya, I left a word. A word daw. That if I am killed, don't you stop until you kill them. And then he said, yes. Ano sasabi mo doon? The vice president has since denied making assassination threats against the president. Wow! Kapal ng mukha, wala daw sinabi. Hindi po tayo nagiging tayo po ay nagko-comment sa isang banda lamang ng wala po tayong kinakampihan doon sa dalawa. Kumakampi tayo doon sa tama, di ba? Sa tama lagi ang ating kakampihan. Kung may tama ka, hindi kita iba. Days after the conference, the NBI issued a subpoena to Duterte, followed by a second one in December as part of the Bureau's investigation regarding her alleged grave threats and possible violation of Republic Act No. 11479 or the Anti-Terrorism Act na gawa ng kanyang administrasyon. Hindi pala ng kanya, nung tatay niya. However, Duterte failed to appear at the NBI office during both summonses, prompting the agency to conduct its investigation based on available evidence, which included interviews with the media who attended the conference. According to the DOJ, it did not matter if the threat materialized as long as the statement could potentially create imminent danger to a person. Ito ang sabi ng DOJ. The crime of grave threats penalizes statements that create real and imminent danger to specific persons, regardless of whether actual harm occurs. The Supreme Court has ruled that what matters is the intent behind the words, whether they were meant to convey a serious threat or instill fear. Mukha namang yun ang ginagawa, diba? Sa tono pa lang ng boses, patayin nyo! Diba? Dagdag pa ng DOJ, it is not necessary that the recipient actually feels intimidated or take the word seriously. What is crucial is that the statement was made with the purpose of creating intimidation or fear. This is what the prosecutors will evaluate based on the evidence presented. It added that laws against sedition penalize any statement that could also pose a real threat to public order regardless of whether the actual unrest occurs. Sabi ulit ng DOJ, while freedom of speech is protected, the Supreme Court has consistently ruled that it does not extend to speech that incites violence, rebellion, or disorder. That law does not require that an unlawful act can be carried out, only that the statement was made with the intent to stir public unrest or disrupt stability. This is what the prosecutors will evaluate based on the evidence presented. Ranking House leaders on Wednesday said the NBI's recommendation bolstered the impeachment complaint against Duterte and called on the Senate to recognize the urgency of starting her trial soon. Ay, nako. Assistant Majority Leaders Hil Bongalon ng Ako Bicol and Ernix Janicia of Manila and Deputy Majority Leaders Paulo Ortega of La Union and Jude Asidre of Tingog are all agreed that the NBI's recommendation would help the House prosecutors convict Duterte. Ito ang sabi ni Bongalon ng Ako Bicol Party List. It would really strengthen our position that indeed the Vice President committed criminal acts such as grave threats and inciting to sedition, which the NBI has found that there is indeed sufficient evidence against the Vice President. Asidre stressed that every day of delays in Duterte's trial endangers the President's life. Yun lang. Diba? Sabi niya, we are not dealing with an ordinary elected official here. The Vice President has the history of bash and violent tendencies. She made direct threats before, and we would be foolish to ignore the possibility that she may act on them. However, Senate President Francis Escudero on Wednesday said filing criminal charges against Duterte would not affect her looming impeachment trial. Ito ang sabi ni Escudero. It has no bearing on the impending impeachment proceedings. In fact, these two may proceed at the same time or one of them will be tackled ahead of the other. So, pwede siyang magkasalu-saluhan. So, ayan, mahimayan, anong masasabi nyo sa pagsampa ng kaso ng NBI laban kay Bibi Duterte? Ang sinampa nila ay sedition and grave threats. Ano masasabi niyo dyan? Comment down below.